Aside from the great need for national health, I'm here for a memory. 20 years ago, Mike Moore came to my house and gave me a gift. He gave me this brick. It's a heavy mother. This brick was the last brick. Flint, Michigan, Mike's hometown, where his people worked for a living. They broke down. The CIO was able to live because they won the strike. They struck in Flint, Michigan, where this brick comes from. Radio and TV have lived off crime, sex, violence, and sports. But now we know health. Health is in it all the time. And so the apostle with this great movie, Sicko, is Michael Moore, whom I am delighted to see once again after 20 years. Now where's that rock? And here's that rock. It's a heavy mother. And this rock says, Historic Fissure 1, home of the great labor UAW sit-down strike, 44 days, 44 nights of 1967. And thank you all, especially Mike, for inviting me. Thank you.
I do remember giving you this brick. It was the factory that was torn down in Flint, Michigan, and it was one of the last bricks that came off that rubble when they tore it down and threw everyone out of work. And it was the site of one of the most historic strikes ever to take place in the history of the world. A strike that forced General Motors to recognize the union for the first time, and a strike that helped to create the middle class in this country. I got one for myself too at the time, but I lost mine. I'm so glad that you were able to hang on to yours. And I can't tell you how much we appreciate all the years, everything you've done. Your place in this country, you are an American treasure, a national hero, and thank you everything you've done. We so greatly appreciate it. Studs and I are honored to be here today, standing with the nurses and the people who are here to fight for guaranteed health care for everyone in this country. We live in the richest country on earth. It's an absolute crime that we allow 47 million of our fellow citizens to go uninsured. It's even worse that those who think they're insured because they pay premiums to health insurance companies, and then they find out when they get sick, these same companies do everything they can to not pay the bill, to have them removed from the rolls, or to even prevent them from getting insurance in the first place because of so-called pre-existing conditions. The insurance industry, when it comes to health insurance, is a racket. It's a racket that has to be removed from the equation. There's no room for profit when we're talking about people's lives. No room for profit. We would not say the fire department has to post a profit every year, would we? We wouldn't allow the fire department to say, I don't know if we should go put out that house fire because it might affect our bottom line. We wouldn't allow that, would we? We wouldn't allow it for the police department. We wouldn't allow it for the water department, because these are things you need to survive. Well, health care is a life and death issue, and you cannot allow the Halliburtons of the drug industry and the healthcare industry, the hospital corporations and the health insurance to be calling the shots. Let's remove the middleman between the doctors, the nurses, and the patients. There's no room for private health insurance in this equation. You know, we're going to hear a lot in the coming weeks because I believe this is a movement that is going to explode across the country. This anger amongst the average Americans has been simmering for quite some time. The organizing has been done for us by the HMOs and by the pharmaceutical industry. They have so abused the people of this country through their actions. They have made a country of millions ready to take them on. They're just waiting for that moment, for that tipping point. I believe that that moment has arrived. And the nurses of this country are going to lead that revolution, and we're going to stop them. The nurses, they're on the front lines every single day. They see what happens. Listen to the nurses. They've seen it. They know it. You know, one of the big differences I've seen between our country and the other countries I visited while making this movie is that just about everywhere else, they operate with this concept of we. We're all in this together. We're all in the same boat. If one of us gets sick, we all suffer as a result of that. And so they realize that they sink or swim together. And so they create systems, social systems, to make sure that not too many people fall between the cracks. That's how they've structured their societies in places like Canada, Britain, in France. In fact, in so many countries, even I just read that Ghana has made it part of their constitution, part of their law, that everybody has a right to see a doctor and never have to worry about paying for it. If they can do it in Ghana, why can't we do it in the United States of America? And then Fox News will say tonight, after they run that statement, Ghana? Ghana? How would you like to get sick in Ghana? Well, you're right. They don't have all the nice machines we have. They don't have the money that we have. But they do have a collective spirit, that they're all in this together. And they know that's the only way they're going to survive. We operate with a concept of me. Me, 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 me. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Every man for himself. I got mine, you get yours. You know, that attitude is not going to get us through the 21st century. We're not going to survive that way. And it's odd, isn't it, that we have that attitude, because the very first American word, the very first word in the American language was we. It was the first word of our founding document. We the people. Not me the people. It's we the people. And we the people have to make sure that everyone is covered with health insurance in this country. We the people. Of, by, and for the people. Who would be opposed to that? Who's opposed to that? Fox News? Are you opposed to that? Yes, we are. It's all about me, me, me. Well, you know, some of us were raised with certain lessons and certain values. Some of those lessons taught us that we will be judged by how we treat the least among us. And we hear a lot, you know, they'll attack this film, they'll say, well, what about those waiting lines in Canada? Yeah, you have to wait a few more weeks sometimes in Canada for a knee replacement, or nothing that's a life or death issue, but elective surgery. Occasionally you have to wait. You know, that's what you have to do when you share the pie. Sometimes you have to wait. Sometimes you get the first slice. Sometimes you get the third slice. Sometimes you get the last slice. But the difference between them and us is they always get a slice, no matter who they are. And in our country, it's the upper 10% that get the slice, and everybody else fight for the crumbs. That's our system. I don't like that. I'm an American. I think we can do better than that. Don't you agree? So I want to thank all of you for coming out here today and for standing up for this most important issue. All the polls show that this will be the #1 domestic issue in the election this coming year, next year. We know what the number one issue is. $100 billion a year. $100 billion a year, and we're in our 5th year of this war. What did somebody tell me the other day? That just 1 year of this war would cover the 47 million uninsured for somewhere like 3 to 5 years? I mean, I don't ever want to hear again that we don't have the money for something. Not for the rest of our life. Because they've proven if they want to find the money, they'll find the money. And if you can find the money to kill people, you can find the money to help people. Thank you very much. Thank you, Chicago. Let's do this. Let's do this for America. Thank you very much.
Physicians for a National Health Program is a group of doctors, some 14,000 and growing faster than any other medical organization, representing the consensus among doctors that single-payer national health insurance is the only answer. We have a slogan which I want to work on you now, and I demand your compliance. We say everybody in, nobody out. Let's hear it. Everybody in, nobody out. Everybody in, nobody out.